Welcome to the LIPSEY'S Aim Higher podcast. I'm Jason Klossner, and today we've got Dale Luke with us.
Howdy, howdy.
And we have our special guest, Chris Johnson, Senior Product Manager from FN.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
Got to have that senior in front of the title.
That's it.
That's important.
I've earned that.
Yes. Hey, being with us at the range all day, he definitely earned it.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly.
No.
Who are these knuckleheads?
Yeah. So Chris is here today. You know, we've been shooting a bunch of new products, checking out a bunch of new guns, and you know, we wanted to talk a little bit give us a little history about FN and just kind of, tell everybody. I think a lot of people know FN as a military contractor, as the Call of Duty guns and everything else. But tell us a little bit about what FN was and is today.
Yeah, sure. So, FN, Fabrique Nationale, has been around since the 1800s. They've been making, military arms for, that long and everything. So, basically they're, for the longest time, not really in the commercial space in the Americas whatsoever. I mean, they made commercial guns like over in Europe, the Baby Browning, things like that. But for the longest time, we've not really been a commercial really entity here in the U.S. So the reason why, FN is, still in Belgium today, still a factory there, thousands of people that work there. But the reason why we're in the U.S. today is because of the M240. So in the 80s, when the Army replaced the M60, they went out to solicitations, and then a version of the Mag 58 was selected, which eventually became the M240 machine gun in the dozens of different variants thereof. So that is why we're in South Carolina. It just so happens to be there's a big Army installation, Army base there in Columbia, South Carolina, and it's literally just a few miles away from where we are in South Carolina. So,
okay, well, FN has a tie to Browning Winchester as well. What's the tie there?
Yeah, so FN is part of the Herstal Group. So the Herstal Group owns Browning Arms, Winchester. I believe that there's some kind of licensing arrangement with the Winchester Repeating Arms. And then, FN America, FN Herstal, they're all part of the Herstal Group of companies.
Okay.
And I believe there's a couple other ones that I'm not remembering right now, but it's a big global consortium of a lot of different firearms companies.
So so FN is doing guns in South Carolina, and they're also doing guns in Belgium.
That's correct.
Which guns are made in Belgium today?
So primarily the 5.7 pistol, the PS90. There are still some medium and light machine guns that are made in Herstal, and then in the Columbia factory, all of our commercial pistols for the U.S. market are made there, the 509, the FNX, these new pistols that we're going to talk about, the SCAR, FN15s. We still make the M240. We have some contracts, legacy contracts for M249 and a couple other military programs that we have.
So the SCAR was made over there for a while. Now, it just here recently has been into the United States. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Good. So, FN has had a lot of new products come out in the last year. The High Power last year was like the big announcement at SHOT Show. I know that the SHOT Show that was kind of the no-show for most people, but I know the High Power was probably one of the big product releases at that. How tell us how the production on that's been and the development and all.
Yeah, so that particular program was in development for a long time. Obviously Browning discontinued importing it in 2018, frankly, due to low demand. There wasn't a whole lot of demand, but, like we were talking about at lunch, is like time's a flat circle. Everything comes back around, right? So, demand for high powers is back, and, that, like I said, that program's been in development for a long time. So we've been basically ramping up industrialization since we introduced it back in January, and we're starting to get more and more of those volumes, out there in the hands of customers today. So it's coming along. So
yeah, I mean the feedback's been really good. I mean, Dale, you talked to a lot of customers too, and it seems like I've seen more interest in the Browning High Power setup in the last 12 months than I have in the last 20 years.
Right. It's almost one of those things where, your collector cars, everyone's now looking for a resto mod, something that is new but still has that old vintage look under the hood, and you can go out and shoot it and bang steel and do what you need to do, but yet not ruin the integrity of some of the older models that are out there. So.
Yeah. Well, and I think, a lot of people just want guns to go shoot.
Yeah.
It's
absolutely.
I think it's so funny. we've been for so long. Everybody had the bigger size 9mm carry guns. I mean, after the last 25 years, that's been kind of the standard. When everybody's been lugging around, and now everybody's gotten so spoiled with these little micro guns and everything. And I think now when they buy a bigger gun, it's like, I just want something to go shoot at the range with. I want something that's fun, doesn't beat me up. You know, also now a metal frame gun sounds pretty appealing to go out there to go shoot 200-300 rounds out. You know,
absolutely,
shooting plates or whatever. So I think there's probably going to be more interest in that. I mean, you see like that with the CZ75, the high powers, all the 1911 9mm, even the legacy, some of the legacy SIGs and stuff like that. That stuff's really been doing really, really well. So it only makes sense that the high power would be potentially a big hit again.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that we see too is that, you know, we had a lot of new shooters into the market the last 2 years, and because of what was available, because of what was popular at the time, a lot of people went and adopted, you know, these little tiny small guns, and some of them can be difficult to shoot. So, you know, it's like one of those things is like, well, what will give me a better experience? What I like shooting, but like it beats me up. Like, how do I do something different? So that's where, like, you know, a bigger metal frame gun, really taking it to the range, it gives you a different experience than going and shooting your, you know, little small carry gun.
Sure.
And that's kind of like what we were looking for. Like sometimes, you know, guns have a purpose, like they're, you know, EDC guns, but sometimes it's okay just to have a gun that's fun to shoot.
Right.
So
That's right. It didn't always have to make sense.
Well, it's also fun to have something that you can just practice your basic fundamentals on.
Absolutely.
And your longer sight plane, and if you hit on target, hit your bullseye or steel plate or whatever with a longer sight plane pistol, the more confidence you're going to build in yourself, and the more you're going to say, okay, now I'm ready to tackle that micro.
Yep.
And you know, bang a couple of rounds in it.
Yeah, I mean, you can get discouraged real quick if you go out there with a you know, super subcompact type gun that has a lot of recoil and shooting duty side type ammo, and you can get
a small revolver.
You can get,
and really get just,
well, that's true. I mean, there's a lot of first time shooters who went out there with an airweight J frame and didn't like shooting all of a sudden. And I was like, well, it's because you probably didn't start with the right gun.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, that's a lot to be said about that. So what about in the long gun world? I mean, I know, you know, FN obviously has a lot of options out there in the SCARs, and then the SCAR P is out now.
Yep, SCAR 15P just launched. I think when this airs, it just launched in December. That's been incredibly popular so far. You know, we've got a full line of FN-15s, so AR pattern, you know, rifles that are, you know, very durable, very reliable. We're, you know, iterating on kind of the different DMR platforms and the TAC-3s and things like that. So we got more of those that are out there. So I mean, we're trying to be kind of a full, you know, suite of products for, you know, the shooter of today. So,
yeah, I tell you, the SCAR continues to be one of the. It's funny. Dale and I talk all the time. We always talk about 308s. 308 battle rifles. That's kind of like our little sweet topic we talk about at the office all the time. And it's funny. It's you kind of go round and round and round, and it's like, God, the SCAR is such a good rifle. And it's he ended up getting one.
Yeah, I finally broke down and sold my middle child for some labor or something. And but no, I love it. I went ahead and scoped it. It's going to be my pig, my all around kind of hunting. In fact, I took it hunting 2 weeks ago. I was in the woods and I had it with me.
Nice.
I had to carry it. I didn't have a sling to put on it, but hey, I'll lug it around. It doesn't. It's really not that heavy.
No, but those guns shoot so good. I always forget about how great those guns shoot and everything, and they handle well. And they're really thin. They really are a modern FAL. Yep. So, which, by the way, tell us about there's some rumors of FAL parts kits coming out.
Yeah, so I think we're doing a contest right now where we have a certain number of like FAL parts kits that we brought over from Belgium. They are actually, you know, used parts kits. Don't know all, you know, 100% of all the details, but basically what it is it's a sweepstakes. You know, you go in, you enter your contact information, and basically, I think it's several hundred of these parts kits will basically be sold off if you win the lottery, if your name gets drawn in the lottery. So that's kind of what I know about it right now. As an employee, I think there's also like a chance where like one lucky winner will actually win a real like Belgian, you know, FN, FAO.
Oh,
wow. As an employee, I'm not eligible to participate in that, which I'm a little heartbroken about, but I did put my name in the hat for the parts kit. So hopefully I can, you know, build my own FAL when it's all said and done. So
That'll still be cool.
that'd be cool. Well, hey, let's talk about something that you can go out and buy.
Sure.
And that is the new Big Bore series from FN. So, you know, the FNX 45, the original, the OG of the optics ready pistol.
Optics ready threaded barrel.
That gun was, I mean, such a revolutionary gun at the time. I remember when it came out, I was here, still in sales and selling guns, and that gun came out, and I was like, man, that gun's got a lot of cool features on it. I mean, look at all these pieces and parts that went with it. And to the fact that gun is still relevant today.
Yep.
And all the things that have come now, they're just commonplace, that gun really did a lot with. And really, it was the only gun to have those features for a long time. Mm-hmm. It took the rest of the market a long time to figure out, hey, this is where everything's going. But FN had the foresight to come out with that gun. Shoot, that gun probably came out, what?
2010?
Yeah, so it was around 2008, 2000. It was like 2008, late 2000s, I guess.
Yeah.
It was in response to, I think, a military program. I think it was the Joint Combat Pistol Program.
Correct.
And, that was basically where I believe the Army was evaluating red dot sights on pistols. And so I think at that point in time it was a variant of the FNP 45 that we then put a threaded barrel on, cut for a red dot optic. And, basically I think people in charge at FN at the time said, hey, look, this is a really good idea. We should put this out there. And, the rest is history. The FNX 45 Tactical is basically the iteration of that pistol. And even today, even with the introduction of these pistols, it's still a great seller for FN and still, part of what I would call an iconic part of FN's pistol product line.
I agree with that. Yeah, I mean, at the time, it was best in class in capacity. It had, all the features with it, and it was still lightweight, and it was very shootable.
Yep.
Very shootable gun. So today we've got some of the new iterations of the large bore semi-automatic pistols from FN. It's funny, large bore pistols back when the FNX 45 came out was, there was still a lot of 45 guys for carry and everything. Now it's pretty much a 9mm world. I think we all agree on that now. But now with the large bores and 10mm and 45, it's more for field applications for a lot of people. So tell us a little bit about these, Chris.
Yep. So what we're introducing is essentially two new pistols at the same time. It's the FN 545 Tactical and the FN 510 Tactical. 545 Tactical is chambered in 45 ACP. The 510 is chambered in 10mm auto. So we're
praise the Lord. We've only been talking about 10mm and FN for 20 years.
The comeback kid.
Yeah. So it's funny. The 10mm, it seems like every manufacturer that comes in, they're like, hey, we got 10mm in the progress, and it's funny how that was 20 years ago. You'd say, hey, what about a 10mm? And like,
no, we're not playing that game.
No, it's dead. It's done. It's funny. 10mm is where 40 Smith & Wesson is now. So, so keep in mind, in 15 years, we'll all be excited. We'll be excited about a 40 Smith & Wesson introduction. But no, 10mm has never been more popular. For the guys out there running the backcountry who are wanting backup guns for camping and all this kind of stuff, it really has kind of taken the place of the large bore revolver that we've seen, especially the 44 Magnums and the 454s and stuff like that. A lot of guys realize I'd rather have something I can hit a target with than have a bigger gun that I can't hit anything with. We shot these guns today. I tell you what,
they're shooters.
You got some contenders.
Yeah,
some contenders. Why don't you break down the 45 first, and then we'll go into the 10mm.
Yeah, sure thing. So it's basically it looks very similar to a 509. Think of it as a scaled up version of the 509. It's basically similar styling, so similar ergonomics that you would see on the FN 509, just scaled up for 45. So it features 15 and 18 round magazines, so you get extended capacity, which again FN tactical pistols are known for. You have the low-profile optics mounting system, so you can mount over a dozen different commercially available optics right out the door.
And that's all in a blister pack in the box that comes with it.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. So you don't have to go and order anything from us. It all comes in the box and basically ready to go. So suppressor height night sights that co-witness based on the shim kit that we supply. 4.7-inch threaded barrel. It is threaded 0.578 by 28 thread, so it's a pretty common thread pitch for 45 cans. And it's got a great trigger, ambidextrous controls, great ergonomics. It makes for an overall very shootable package.
Yeah, and at the range today, this 45, 45 can be a little snappy depending on the package. And this gun was extremely soft shooting. I know I sound like a broken record with all these FNs being soft shooting, but I tell you what, y'all have the formula for success when it comes down to managing recoil and how the pistol really handles it.
Yeah, we have some great engineers. They spend a lot of time, trying to basically, make, these bigger bore calibers that have a very different recoil impulse than 9mm, make them very shootable, make them something to where, people can pick them up, learn them and shoot them well kind of right out the gate.
Mm-hmm.
That's been
Absolutely.
kind of the goal there.
Well, I'll go out and say that was the softest shooting 45 I've ever shot.
Mm-hmm.
And I've shot them all.
Yeah.
Probably own half most
you
of them.
probably have, yeah.
But that, when I shot the first round, I was like,
did it go off?
That wasn't bad. I mean, it really it felt like a 9mm.
Mm-hmm.
I was really super impressed of the recoil impulse on that gun. Stupid accurate. That trigger, you guys really cleaned the triggers up on these guns. I liked it. It's not a super steep curved trigger, but it's also not a flat trigger. It's kind of a hybrid that I really, really like. It fit my hand perfectly. It comes with 2 different back straps. It has the medium in there. Usually I'm kind of slapped a small back strap on there, but I tell you, on this gun, I kind of think I like the medium better. Yeah.
It didn't feel oversized at all.
The texturing was just right, not too aggressive, but it wasn't slick. I really like this gun a lot.
We think it's going to do well for us. I think that we put a lot of time and energy into it. We wanted, we're known for 45s with the FNX 45 Tactical, so we wanted to put our best foot forward when we did the 545 Tactical. So, if you're a customer looking for consistent trigger pull and a 45 with class leading capacity, it's kind of all right here.
Yeah, I mean to have a 19 shot striker fired 45 that shoots like a 9mm. That's not a lot of negatives right there.
No.
I mean, the 10mm gets all the play as the field guns these days. Everybody's talking 10mm, but really, I tell you, 45 ACP with the right loads is right up there. And we always talk about when we're talking about our big bore revolvers, because that's such a common subject with LIPSEY'S all the time. Is everybody who talks heavy 45 Colts and 44 Magnums, they talk the big loads, but their everyday carry loads are a 250 grain hard cast bullet at 900 feet per second. And you hear that over and over and over. All you need is a 250 grain bullet at 1,000 feet per second. That'll kill everything you need in North America.
Well, guess what?
Yeah, when you look at it, that's a 45 ACP loaded right.
Yeah.
And so when you think about it, if you can load in with these hammer forged barrels, they're not polygonal, shoot all lead you want. You take a 250 grain hard cast bullet in there, and you can with that 4.7 inch barrel, with the right powders, you can get to 900 feet pretty dang easy. Mm-hmm. That's pretty formidable when you think about you got 18 round magazine in there. That's a revolver with 2 extra reloads on tap in the gun.
That you can shoot fast and accurate.
You can shoot fast and accurate. You can reload really quick. It's a heck of a lot lighter.
Mm-hmm. And
if you can't see your sights, you can put an optic on it.
Exactly.
You can put a light on it if you're camping at night. That's got a lot going for it.
Suppressor ready.
Yeah. Don't discount the 45 ACP for the guys out there who are looking for a field gun. I think it's. I'd be willing to be surprised if we don't start seeing people start to trend back that way.
I'm looking at one right now.
Yeah, I know. He was. I know you might want to check his pockets when you leave here, because he was eyeballing that 45 pretty hard today at the range. So, but hey, to go to the next conversation piece here, we've got the new 10mm, the 510.
Yep. So as I mentioned, we've got 2 new pistols, the 45 and the 10mm. So basically, we've basically chambered the 545 for 10mm. So similar specifications. Great package, great trigger, great ergonomics, cut for the low profile optics mounting system, but in a very popular 10mm caliber. One of the things that I'm most excited about this gun is that, standard capacity is 15+1, but then we also have a 22+1 round magazine. So you can have 23 rounds of 10mm at the ready to basically be ready for whatever you run into. So.
Right.
And we know 10mm is, grown and regrown in popularity again. So, like listening to customers, everybody's been asking for a 10mm, FN pistol for a long time. So we think we delivered something really nice there with that.
Yeah, I know when the FNX 45 came out originally, everybody was like, what about 10mm? Mm-hmm. Of course, 10mm was dead back then. Nobody wanted to talk about it. But yeah, no, man, 23 rounds of 10 millimeter on tap is pretty formidable.
And watching Jason completely do a mag dump with 23 rounds was quite impressive. Keeping it in a 8-inch circle as fast as he could pull a trigger was pretty darn sweet.
Super controllable. I mean, again, we keep said it about the FN pistols, but these guns are very easy to shoot. They're very comfortable. Now you guys did a lot of testing with a lot of different 10 millimeter. I know that's been a big challenge with the manufacturers with 10 millimeter is that you got everything from 40 Smith & Wesson equivalent loads to the heavy buffalo bore type stuff and everything in between. So tell us about some of the challenges and the testing that you had to go to make sure that you had reliability with all these loads.
Yeah, so actually with both 10 millimeter and 45, the ammo compatibility lists were quite extensive. We were developing these, partly during the pandemic when there was an ammo rush, so we kind of had to beg, borrow, and steal to kind of get the full list. But sure. We think we were pretty comprehensive in getting different bullet shapes and powder loadings and primer types and casings and all that different stuff to basically have guns that will eat just about anything that's out there and reliably cycle just about anything that's out there in the market. There are a few exceptions to that, like some really strange, loads and things like that, wad cutters and so on and so forth that, will give any semi-auto pistol a little bit of a trouble. But, for the most part, it is very reliable and will basically cycle, just about most commercial ammo. So we covered most of the bell curve, I'll say, when it comes to the types of ammos that are out there.
Yeah, and there's always the X factor of the person shooting it too. Yeah. It's a lot of times you go out there and you test a gun, and if you're all locked out, he's going to run. You shoot it kind of
softly,
yeah. Weak-handed, trying to shoot from a down position or something like that. Things can happen. So you really got to vet these guns, especially when you're on the outer edge of the ballistic performance of what the cartridge was developed for. But now I tell you, we shot several hundred rounds to these guns today, and we didn't have nothing bobbled at all on them. And I tell you what, the accuracy of these guns was phenomenal. The ease of shooting, the ergonomics of them, they're really easy to hit the controls. Some of the larger frame 10s and 45s, especially when you start getting these double stack magazines, it can be kind of hard you have to shift the gun around to work the mag release or the slide release and everything. These guns really, you didn't have those efforts, those problems with that. You had a lot of ambidextrous use on here. So I think, man, we were talking about earlier in a chest rig, man, and this gun would be really
chest rig and
really
a 10
nice.
Yes, absolutely.
It'd be a really nice setup. But so you got two different colors. You got FDE, you got black. Is there any other options right now?
So basically FDE, black, 10 millimeter, 45 ACP. We will have state compliant, versions. Going out, listening to customers and things like that, there's actually a lot of customers that live in capacity restriction states that want 10-round versions of the 10 millimeter because I guess kind of the mentality is like, look, if I only got 10 rounds, I want the 10 most powerful rounds I can possibly get.
Makes sense.
So we'll have those, available as well. But we're really excited about the tactical, coming out. And, again, this is a brand new pistol platform for FN, so it'll give us lots of options for future stuff in the works as well. So
that's good. That's good.
I tell you what, it's a home run. There's no doubt about it. And I've never seen a pistol throw brass that far before.
Yeah, it was flinging them out there.
Our cameraman was getting pelted, and he was a ways away.
There was no feeble extraction on this one. No brass to face on these guns at all. So no, I mean, you get everything out of the box. It's ready to go. You got the threaded barrel. You got the optics cut. You got the night sights. You got the extended magazine. You got all the plates. It's got
your back straps.
Yeah, you've got it all right there. You got FN reliability, you got the quality, accuracy, you got a great trigger.
Hammer forged barrels.
You got striker fired.
A newly designed trigger. I mean, it's...
you got a lot of things going for these guns. And so I'm glad to see more options in that large frame big bore pistol out there. It's it was kind of one or two players in there for so long, and now we've got really a great stable of options out there.
Absolutely.
And so get out there. I think FN has really made a statement of coming out with these guns. I think they're going to do really, really well, and I'm excited to see what other derivatives will come out of this as well. Maybe some LIPSEY'S exclusives one day.
Maybe we'll see.
But anyways, so hey, I know everybody wants to know to check out these guns. They go to the FN's social pages and go to FN's website. Give us some information on where to find you.
Yep. So best place to find out any information about FN and FN's products, fnamerica.com. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, so on and so forth. But yeah, FNAmerica.com is the best place to get most up-to-date information on products.
Great. Well, Chris, we really appreciate you coming down, spending the day with us.
Absolutely.
We had a great time shooting these guns. Great models. We've shot some other stuff that's going to be launched at a later time that I'm super excited about. Keep tuned in April. I think you're going to be excited about that. And anyways, go to LIPSEY'S.com. Check out all of what we've got going on. Go to all our social pages and check them out. Dale, you got anything else to say?
I'm at a loss. No, I got nothing. I'm lost for words. These things really shut me up pretty good. So.
I think he's got a 45 on his list.
Yeah,
he's pretty hot on that.
Possibly
one,
a 10.
Yeah,
they may or may not make it out of the building.
The good thing is you got one holster that fits the same gun.
Yeah, so. That is true. That is true. And one can for both.
There you go. All right, guys. Until next time, aim higher.